Hey guys, welcome back to Hippo Supercoach, and today we're going to recap over all the practice games and we're going to do our team update. So strap yourselves in, it's going to be a relatively long video, and so I'm going to give you guys the strap for this year, and this is the one secret you guys got to follow. We're going to head over to my account and we're going to hit remove entry because it's too hard this year. In all seriousness, let's get into it. So first game, we actually reviewed the other three games. So if you're not sure of my opinion, on those games, check out the previous video. So St Kilda versus Essendon. Key takeaways out of this. So Marshall 155. I think he has to be a lock. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't pick Rowan Marshall. I think the price is there. Obviously the role is there now that Paddy Ryder's retired. But we sort of always knew Marshall was a lock. So this is one thing before the practice matches that we actually understood that it hasn't changed. So it's nice. Mason Wood's an interesting one. So I've seen people talk about him. He's got a really nice role. 15 marks. He played unreal. Probably should have had a bit more Supercoach, to be honest. But for now, I'm staying away. But I could see why people would pick him. Brad Crouch was good again. Mitch Owens, wow, I didn't even know he scored that. So we're just going to go through all the relevant players. So Jack Steele, 84. People were saying he was just cruising. He probably was. So I think Steele is still, no pun intended, a valid pick. But for me, I just think there's better options. And when there's so many good mid options, I just feel like ones that don't perform in the preseason, like when I'm trying to find something to, to differ from other premiums, I just think, if I haven't seen them play a good game this year, why would I pick someone who I have seen play a good game this year? And I know there's the whole thing, preseason doesn't matter. Steele takes it easy in preseason. Yeah, he does, but I remember there was a preseason game against Carlton where he scored like 170. This was before he even broke out, so I don't trust Jack Steele anymore, but I can see why he would still be a good pick. Jack Sinclair was very quiet. Don't know what happened with him. 66% disposal efficiency. I guess that's probably why. And Winhager got injured. Bytel was good, so maybe he could be a pick. So moving on to Essendon, Jordan Ridley, 128 now. I think this is a trap. In my opinion, it's a trap because I don't think anything in his role has changed. I think he just had a really good game. I believe the kick-ins were split pretty evenly between him and Redmond. So I think Ridley's just played a really good game. I wouldn't read too much into it. But at the same time, I can see why you would pick him because the value's there. I just think for Ridley to go that 120 plus, he needs to get all the kick-ins. I remember he was scoring like 30, 40 points when he was D1 back a few years ago from like kick-ins alone. So he doesn't have that 100% kick-ins that he did. But yeah, I personally think he's a trap. Will Setterfield's another interesting one, so another mid-pricer. Now we're going to rank actually all the mid-prices in a future video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe, turn the noties on. But yeah, so Setterfield was good. I think he's got money to make. People are saying he's in the next Will Brodie. I don't think so at all. I watched him pretty closely at Carlton. I honestly think he's quite terrible, to be honest. I think this is just a really kind of fluke game for him, and I could eat my words, but yeah, I think he's pretty average. Merritt 112. I like the Merritt pick. I just think better off in the second half of the season. Nick Martin was good. Draper 80 was quite average. Redmond I wouldn't go near. Owen Davey looked quite good. Where is he? Darcy Parish. So I believe he got the tag. So he got the Bytel tag, I believe. Yeah. So I think he might get the McGuinness tag round 1. I don't like him as a pick anymore, unfortunately. And he did have ice on his calf at the end of the game. So one to be wary of, I think. I think you can still pick him, but I really do think they're going to maybe tag him. So yeah, let's move on to the Sydney versus Carlton game. My Blues got absolutely pumped, unfortunately. And Errol Goulden is, I think he's a real deal. I think he has to be in everyone's team now. The price, the value is just too good. I think he's like, as long as he keeps a little bit of that percentage of CBA increase from last season, if he can bump it up by 10%, which we expect, I think he was in the 20s last season, or 30s maybe. So if he can bump that up to 40, 50, he is a lock. And it looks like he's shown everything that he is more than capable of being, not only the best mid in their team, but probably the best mid in the comp at this point. Like, he actually looked unreal. He had the best practice match of everyone this year. quite comfortably, and yeah, I reckon he's got a bit of Bontempelli about him. He's very silky. He also tackles a lot, so 5 tackles, so can kick goals. He's like the absolute ultimate player. So I think you have to pick Errol Goulden. Going down, Laddams was okay. He scored 91 in half a game. I think he could actually be a viable pick as a pod, to be honest. He's playing round 1. This McAndrew guy, I don't rate him, honestly. I think he's going to be a very, very slow burn. Obviously only played 38%. I just don't trust him. I mean, I know he's 120k, but I think he gets dropped as soon as he comes back anyway. I don't think he can make enough money unless Laddams gets injured. I don't think he's gonna get any ruck time, to be honest, or not much anyway. Who's relevant? Chad Warner, 88. Probably a pass for me. People are hyping him up in the preseason. I think he's not quite what people expected. There's no one else relevant on Sydney, I believe. Jake Lloyd, wow, he has dropped off. 47, man. It's funny how things can change. So, moving on to Carlton, Sam Doherty, 154. 34 touches? Yeah, wow, 11 marks. I think he played predominantly backline. I didn't see all this game. I think he's a great option. He looked pretty average in the first game, but definitely bounced back. Do I think... I just don't know how Walsh coming back affects him. I think he's going to be fine, Doherty, for a 105-ish sort of average, or 105 to 110 average. But I don't know if he's going to go more than that. I know he's capable of it, but I don't know if he will. So I think Doherty's one of those ones I might just wait and see, but at the same time, I could definitely start him. I'm not sure. George Hewitt, 130, so he's very consistent. 13 tackles. He would be a crazy pod. 76% game time. I couldn't pick him, but if you really wanted to go unique, George Hewitt might be the pick. Wiedering was good, not really relevant though. So Singh Cotter, 70, very happy with that. He's a 102k rookie. I think he has to be in everyone's defense, at least on the bench. Adam Sard, so 65% game time. 65 score. That is very strange, and I guess he's off everyone's radar now. He's one of those players where you sort of needed to see a good practice match from, but he didn't. So probably not the one for me. Ollie Hollands, 59. I'm not sure his price, but he's a rookie. Anyone else relevant for Carlton? Not really. No. So we'll move on to the next game. So McGovern went 144. Apparently he had a lot of kick-ins. 12 mark is going to help as well. Do I think you could pick him? I just don't think he's going to be a top 6 defender. I mean, you never know. But for me, McGovern's probably not the one. I think there's probably better options and maybe a little bit of a trap. I don't think his role's changed to the point where he will, just randomly boost his scoring. I could be wrong. If someone knows about his role, please let me know. I didn't actually see any of this game. Gimby, 99, so really good. Look at the stats. I mean, he had, 17 touches? He had 17 touches, 1 mark, 5 tackles, 10 of them contested. And he only played, half a game? That can't be right, can it? How the hell did he score 99? Alright, well, if these stats are accurate, he's a goat. You're going for the Brownlow. You would have scored 200 if you played the whole game. That is very strange. Anyway, please someone let me know what happened with those stats. That cannot be right. Moving on, Elliot Yeo, 78. So, yeah, definitely not as hot as I was on him. And Dom Sheed is not currently in my team. Yeo only played 67% game time, actually, so maybe that's not as big of a deal as I thought. And Sheed, 75, so maybe he's not too bad either. Right now, Sheed's not in my team anyway. Little spoiler alert. Oscar Allen, 52. I don't think he'll be worth it. 1 goal, 3. I guess if he converts, maybe 2 of those more. Nah, I don't think he's worth it. Gaff, wow, he has dropped off something shocking. And that's pretty much it for the relevant West Coast players. Rory Laird, 151. 2 goals, 32 touches, 10 tackles. I think the tackles make Laird almost a guaranteed lock. I'm pretty firm on the stance right now that Dunkley and Ashcroft are the only locks in Supercoach, but I think Laird's pretty close. Obviously, just a matter of if you want to pay up for that top dollar for him, which I can understand why people wouldn't. There's plenty of value around in the mid, but I think he's just so safe, and Definitely a captain, vice captain option, obviously. Darcy Fogarty, 4 goals, 136 Supercoach. Pretty insane. Don't know how he scored that much. How did he get 18 touches? 7 marks. Wow. Jordan Dawson, 105. So he's had, 23 kicks, 3 handballs. Pretty efficient. 10 marks. Thought he probably could have scored more from those numbers. Anyway, it's fine. Anyone that's considering Dawson, I think, yeah, he's a fine pick. Brody Smith, no, he's not relevant anymore. Rankin's 71. I don't know how much mid-time he got. I know people were talking about whether he was going to get mid-time or not. But I think Rankin's probably a pass for me. Maybe an upgrade target at absolute best. And that's pretty much it for the relevant Adelaide players, I would think. So now it starts getting interesting. So GWS versus Gold Coast. Josh Kelly is one I've been very hot on as a pod, and he's gone 138. So 138 with 7 clangers. He's not going to get 7 clangers every game. I think he's so tempting. Now, this is one of the 2 games from today that I think we have to sort of assess with a bit of caution, because Gold Coast obviously don't have the best midfield in the comp, and they're missing their best player by a mile. So we have to, like I said, not get too trapped by this. But I really do believe in the Josh Kelly pick. I just think you're eventually going to have Canelio in the forward line, whether you start him or not. So you're going to have Canelio. You have to have Tom Green, I think. That's 2. This Callahan guy, which we're going to talk about, that's 3. So if you have Kelly as well, that's a 4th GWS player. And I just think that, I don't know, doesn't sit right with me picking that many Giants. Anyway, Josh Kelly would be an insane pod. If you're not going to pick Tom Green or Cogs to start with, I'd probably consider Kelly. I think the price is really good. He's obviously capable of being a top 8 mid, and he's capable of... he's shown now that he can actually play out a full season. I think he's had 2 seasons in a row where he hasn't missed a game. So someone that you have to consider, because he should have the mid-roll now, the pure mid-roll, no forward BS from Leon Cameron. So Tom Green did everything right. 4 tackles, no marks, which is a bit surprising. 17 contested, so Kelly and Green both had 17 contested. Yeah, Green had a lot of handballs, but I guess Kelly did too. The way they were playing, actually, they were sort of throwing it around like the Bulldogs, how they sort of handball it to each other. A lot of 1-2s and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Tom Green's pretty safe for maybe not top 8, but definitely like around that top 12 mark, which is still viable in my opinion for that price. And we've got 36 trades. If we need a sideways 1 primo, it's not the worst, but I think he can be a top 8 as well. Lockie Ash was good. I don't think I'd pick him. I think he'll be used as a tagger at times this year. Isaac Cummings, one that I think possibly is a trap. He didn't get all the kick-ins, and I don't think anything in his role has changed to the point where he would be a top 6 to 8 defender. Obviously Himmelberg going forward's good for his kick-ins, but I think there was someone else taking kick-ins. I'm not sure. I think it was Whitfield taking a few. So now that Whitfield goes back, does it help Cumming? I think it probably hurts him, but this game it was good for him. I don't know. I probably wouldn't pick him personally. I think he's a little bit of a trap. So Callahan. So I didn't see much of this game, but Callahan's someone that you probably have to pick. He's kicked 2 goals, he had 22 touches, 66% time on ground, which is very low. And I think 200k. Can you really go wrong with that? Seems like he's... I'm not sure if he's like a CBA kind of player or not. Someone can let me know in the comments, please. Because, I don't know too much about the Callahan pick. He's only come relevant to me of recent times. And I know a lot of you diehards... Well, I should be a diehard. I should know everyone, but I know most things. But this is one guy I don't know. So, yeah, I'm definitely have open ears. But he's in my team right now. And it's a bit of a blind pick, I guess, because I don't know much about him. But I think the price and the score... it sort of makes sense. Whitfield, 86... I think trap. I think wait till he gets DPP and see where he's at round 6. If you have to pay an extra 50k and he explodes, who cares? I'd rather that than get trapped by him. Cogs 85 from 61% game time, so I think he had a concussion, or he thought he had concussion or something, so I think he's going to be fine. He'll average 100 with ease, especially in this midfield role. That's pretty much it from the Giants' relevant players. I saw Braden Bruce do some grubby tackle, which I found quite humorous. New Year, same Bruce. So yeah, he's actually a meme at this point. The amount of dog acts he does, it's crazy. Sam Flanders, we're up to 15 minutes and we still got 2 games to go and the team reveal. So it's gonna be a long video, like I said, guys. Yeah, hope you've got some snacks or something to be eating while you're watching this or listen to this. The Sam Flanders, I think, has got to be in everyone's team. I think similar price to Callahan from memory, and yeah, I don't think Tuke Miller affects him too much. He had a few CBAs but didn't have that many. And I just, yeah, I really like this pick, and I think I think he has to average somewhere in the 70s, 75ish, 70 or 75 to make 150k, which I think is almost guaranteed. Yeah, so Flanders and Callahan probably have to be picked. Jared Witts did enough, 65% game time, 23 hit outs, 1 goal, 13 touches. So we know he's not the best around the ground, but I think he's the safest option at the moment. English, yeah, we'll talk about English in a second, and Darcy, we know what we think about Darcy. Round 97, don't rate him anymore. Maybe his body's still cooked, I don't know. I don't really care about Matt Rao this year. He burnt me last year. You burnt everyone, I think. Alright, let's move on to I feel like I'm missing rookies. I don't know. So this game was crazy. So let's start with North here. So I think Jack Zeeble is the only relevant one in my opinion. Actually, no, we'll talk about a couple. So Zeeble, I think is fine, and he's still locked into my, not locked, but he's still in my team. I think this game was just the doggies just hogged all the Supercoach points. If I'm being honest, like, yeah, they got destroyed, and I think Zeeble will be fine. I think he got a bit unlucky with some of the kick-ins where he was on the bench. When they kicked behinds, so he couldn't actually get the kick-ins, obviously. But yeah, I'm happy with the Zeeble pick. I think he can average 86 anywhere between 85 and 100. I reckon Zeeble can average in that role. Yeah. So Cunnington's one that I was kind of hot on, but he actually 27 touches, three marks, no tackles, which was quite strange. 16 contested, so he's obviously going to get plenty of contested and plenty of clearances. If he probably adds another, couple of tackles on, bumps it up to like a 90. But yeah, I think the price is a bit awkward. I think it was 60-70k cheaper. I'd probably lock him in, but yeah, not for me. I don't think this year. Yeah, and age obviously is kind of against him. So Charlie Convent actually played one of the worst games in, I think, Supercoach history. So he scored -3 from 84% game time, and he was on like -9 with like 2 minutes left. I think he kicked took a mark and kicked it behind. So yeah, maybe the worst game of all time. What is this badge? Donuts in Q1. Yeah, 5 frees against probably doesn't help, and none for. There's more relevant players here. So go to 46, probably not going to be a great starting pick. And Sheasel 72, I really liked Sheasel's game. He actually got a kick in. So Lord knows what his role is. He's just kind of floating everywhere. I think North went into just a mode where they're like, you know what, we're getting destroyed. Let's just, I don't know, just run around and have fun, I guess. But yeah, I think Sheasel is one to keep an eye on. The price is a little bit annoying, 190. But yeah, I really like him. And Will Phillips, well, he was quite average, and I did say he was going to be pretty average once Cunnington and Simpkin came back. So I don't even think you have to start him, to be honest. If you're going to start him, probably wouldn't want him on field, that's for sure. Because I think, yeah, these sort of scores, they score a bit better than that. Like, they did play one of the better midfields in the comp, obviously. But someone I'm not really that hot on. Alright, let's start with the doggies. So, Libba 158 would be a very nice pod. I think Dunkley yet helps him. I think there's more contested possessions to go around now, and more tackles to go around, if that makes sense. And obviously more CBAs, which Libba was kind of getting anyway, but he was their leading CBA, I think, player. So, God, he'd be a massive pod. He's definitely not a trap, but I just don't know if he can be top 8. So, I think you have to pick Bont over Libba. So we'll talk about Bont now. He looked unreal. So 27 touches and he scored 145. Now obviously we know he does love to get bailed out by champion data. Had the 2 goals as well. I think he is a very safe pick. Yeah, looked really, really good and was just in cruise control the whole game and still pumped out a massive score. So captain / vice captain, option every week. CBAs were good, and yeah, very happy with the Bont pick. Bailey Dale's one that I think maybe could be a trap. So Ed Richards went out in the first quarter. He's obviously going to have games where he does go big, but I think he'll also have some quiet ones too. So yeah, I don't like Bailey Dale as a starting pick. I sort of put him in the same boat as Cumming. I think they're kind of fringe top 6 defenders. If you do want some value, they're great, but I'd rather pay up and just get that guaranteed top 6. So when you come to the Supercoach finals, you're actually, confident in the players that you have. But at the same time, like I said, he's a bit cheaper. So if you can't quite get up to like a Tom Stewart or a Dawson, or Sicily, then yeah, he'd be a good pick. But yeah, not for me for now. Jack McRae 118, so I thought he actually played better than this. What really hurt him? I get 2 tackles, 8 marks. I think most of his possessions were uncontested. Yeah, they were. So 5. Yeah, he got a lot of cheapies. I think McRae's a good pick, but not for me. And this is an interesting one because obviously he's one of the most talked about players this year. I just think, yeah, he's that 4th option. It seems like Bailey Smith, or maybe the 3rd option, but like Smith, Treloar, even Scott. Scott actually looked really good. 18 touches, 3 goals. Was he the one that was playing in the midfield? It was, yeah. He looked quite good in the mid. I don't know if he's getting CBAs, but he was attending stoppages quite closely. So yeah, Bailey Smith is one I probably wouldn't pick, but I could see him possibly becoming an Uber Primo. Obviously, the disposal efficiency is something that needs to be cleaned up, but the guy can obviously get the ball, and he's obviously got a massive tank. And they clearly like to have him in the midfield too. 18 contested possessions, unreal. Oscar Baker's one that you have to probably lock in, 123k rookie, not rookie, mature age recruit that has, I think, decent job security now. He looked really good, so yeah, 111. Can't ask for more as a 123k player. Treloar I don't think is relevant. Just butchered it a bit today. Liam Jones is in my team, 200k. I think he's very, very capable of averaging 75 plus, which will be all he needs to make 150k, I believe. Tim English, I thought he actually played better than what he scored, which is weird. I don't know what was wrong with his game. 5 contested possessions, maybe that's it. I don't know. It felt like maybe not many cadets to advantage. I don't know. It felt like he was kind of everywhere when I started watching. Josh Bruce probably isn't the pick we thought he could have been. That's really it for the. Oh, Toby McLean. I think he's out of my team. He looked kind of lost today. So yeah, I don't like the McLean pick. Let's get into the last game. I feel like I've been talking forever about these games, but bear with me. We'll get into the team review. Team reveal quite soon. So Max Gawn, tread with caution with Gawn. I just think he's a little bit of a trap. He did look unreal, but he's not going to kick 3 goals every week. And yeah, I just think you can't pick Gawn or Grundy. As tempting as they are, I think it's safer to go with those rucks that you know their role is more secure. But I think Gawn will trap people in, and I can understand why people would fall for it. So good luck if you're going to pick Max Gawn. I do actually wish you luck. Christian Petrarca 114, solid game for him. Thought he should have had a bit more, 32 touches, but it is what it is. Clayton Oliver is an interesting one. So they were playing him on the half-back flank. He scored 95. And you know what? This is going to sound stupid, but for 700k, I needed to see a 110 plus from Oliver. I'm not picking him. I can see how he's still going to be a good pick, but personally, I think I'd rather just lead much safer mid-roll, and I thought Oliver was a safe mid. Who knows? Maybe they're just trialing him in the half-back. He didn't look bad at half-back, but I don't know. He's a midfielder at the end of the day. So Brody Grundy's probably the next one we talk. Actually, pick at 90 is quite interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Need to know a bit more about his midfield split, so someone definitely to consider. Brody Grundy, 80. Looked really good at the start, kind of went a bit more quiet. Don't think you could pick him. He'll be a forward. I think Gawn and Grundy will get forward status quite early in the year, so I would personally just wait for that. Let their price come down a bit, especially Gawn's. Richmond, so Taranto I was kind of off on for a bit. If he didn't turn up, I wasn't going to pick him because I just think there's so much value in the forward line this year with 300k players. But he ended up having a pretty good game, so he will be picked in my starting team. And Saul Hopper. Daniel Rioli is an interesting one because it seems like he has some kick-ins and he's got like that cheesy defending role again. But probably someone I think is a bit risky. I think I put him in that category with like Ridley's and Cumming and stuff like that because I just think I wouldn't start them. I don't trust them yet. So Jaden Short, never again. Dusty actually played pretty well in the first half. I don't know how he went. Must have gone quiet in the second half. Obviously not Supercoach relevant. I think that's pretty much it for the Supercoach relevancy. Yeah. That is it. Alright, let's get into my team. This might look ugly. I feel like it could change more than 1,000 times between now and round 1. I'm going to try and keep it simple and not change too much. But, yeah, I'm not sure. So this is how it is. So we got Dawson at D1, Yo, Jones. So very, very thin in the back line. We'll probably field Sincotta, even though he's cheaper. Wilmot didn't look amazing, so I don't know about him, but he has a decent role. But yeah, so Gimby had the 99. Constable I think had like 70, so I didn't talk about him. And Sincotta. So I'm happy with this. I don't know about the job security about these guys, but to be honest, it looks like we're gonna have these five guys are gonna play round 1. I think. Cowan's a maybe, I guess, but the rest of them should. So yeah, happy with the back line, but it's obviously a bit weaker. But it allows me to go a bit heavier in the mid and forward and ruck, obviously. Laird, I think he's just easy to set and forget. And Lachie Neale's one I've been hot on for a long time now. I've seen a lot more people starting to talk about him, which is annoying for me because he wasn't a pod, but he was definitely somewhat unique compared to the Olivers and Bonts of the world. But I think Neale has a good chance of being M1. And he was just cruising on Friday night. He was just cruising on Friday night and played really, really well. Thursday night, I can't remember what it was. It was Thursday night, so. M3 Bont, I think Bont will comfortably average 120 plus this year, maybe even 125 plus. The role's there, the CBA's there. Any doubts, they're kind of gone now. So happy with the Bont pick. Tom Green, obviously, I think he can break out, and we all know why we're picking him. He's a bull at the contest. Can he do it all season? I think so. He's shown the ceiling. Now it's just a matter of if he can, maintain it. But I think the CBAs are quite clearly there. So I think it's, like I said with some of the other picks, I think it's riskier not to pick him than to pick him at this point. And Jacob Hopper M5. I really like Hopper at M5. I think it's a good balance of mid prices and rookies. Now Warple's one that's missing. I did want Warple, but I think I just had to be a bit cutthroat with who I wanted and who I don't, because obviously we have to be a bit careful with these mid prices because they're not all going to work. They just can't all work. And I'm very optimistic when it comes to mid price madness, but I just think they cannot all work. It just doesn't make any logical sense for it to all work. But yeah, Warple missed out because he had 30 touches and scored 100 odd. So if he has 20, 25 touches, he's probably not going to go very well. That being said, I still think he would get pretty close to. I think he's still going to make enough money, at least 100k. He's going to make at least 100k, and probably 150. But yeah, I just couldn't fit them all in. Callahan, can't not pick him after that game, and Ashcroft was unreal. Mackenzie was also unreal. So Will Phillips might be one that has to go. Yeah, I'm not sure about him. He might have job security, but the role's pretty average. Baker was unreal. Davey looked pretty good. Moving on, Witts and Marshall. So this could be Darcy. At this point, it's going to be Witts, just because of that comment with, Luke Jackson maybe playing more ruck in some games. Don't like the idea of that at all. Think we have to take a bit of note of that, even though Darcy does look unreal this year. Tackled really well. So, yep, I think he has a bit better ceiling than Witts, but I think Witts will be more consistent. And early on, I just want some consistency from my rucks. Marshall played a really, really unreal game, 155 or whatever, so lock him in, set and forget. And McAndrew, well, we know about him. He's not going to score much. He might not even be there. It might be Radaglia if I can get enough money, but even Radaglia wasn't anything special. So Dunkley locked in, nothing to say about him. Cogs, I've got in at the moment. instead of Zeeble. Sorry, I changed that. So I said Zeeble's in my team. I took Zeeble out for Cogs just because I had a lot of money left over. So Cogs slightly safer, but Zeeble I still think is great. Gonna make you enough money. Torino 503k. Yep, he's locked in for a top 6. I think Goulden's locked in for top 6 as well. And Tanner Bruin, I think he is definitely going to make 200k. And possibly be top 6 as well, which I think is really, really cool. Really, really cool prospect to have someone. Anytime you can have someone that you think can be top 6 as well as think they're going to be a cash cow, or they are a cash cow, it's gold in Supercoach. So I really rate Tanner Bruin. I can definitely see him averaging in the 95 to 105 range. He looked unreal as a mid. So yeah, so general structure discussion. I think I think Mackenzie probably has to be on field. A lot of people have him at M9, so on the bench. I don't like that. I think he will be a bit of a waste to not have him on field. Now, he played a lot of mid-time. I know people will think about Josh Ward last year or the year before, whatever it was, but I don't know. They're different players at the end of the day. It could happen. It could be a trap. And worst case scenario, well, you just field Oscar Baker. I think if you're going to run a loophole, try and run it in the midfield, because then we can sort of manipulate that M8 spot. Or maybe do that. No, it depends. Oscar Baker might have a fluke game. I don't know, because what my thought process was, you could loop between Oscar Baker and Mackenzie, see who plays first, see if they have a good score, and then bring on your loophole, obviously. But you might have to do it in defense with the limited, like, depending on your structure, obviously. But I might have to do it in defense because I have, a pretty thin back line. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm really happy with Mackenzie at M8, and I think if you have him at M9, it is a bit of a waste. But he's still gonna make money. I don't think you can go R2 Galea anymore. The McAndrew pick is not going to be good enough to be a backup. And you know what, Radaglia could get dropped. He did not look that good. The role was there. Well, the role was there to an extent. He had more of like a McCartan role where he was a little bit intercepty, but mostly kind of locked down. And yeah, I just don't think he's going to be quite the player we thought. He's pretty clumsy and unco, but it'd be fun to watch. I'll give you that. Yeah, I just think R2, it's too risky. And I like risks, but I think this is a bit of a dumb risk. So yeah, I probably wouldn't pick Radaglia. I think structure-wise, with the forward line, I don't really trust Philippou and Fergus Green. Reason being is they're forward players. They're not midfielders, whereas the rest of them I really trust. So actually very, very confident with Sam Flanders at F6, obviously, because he's pumped out a ton. And I think at this point, there's so many options and so many mid-priced options where we actually have to think a little bit differently, and we got to think about which rookies we want to get off the field. And for me, I just want to have those forwards off the field. I think all the defenders can score quite well. So Constable and Gimby and Sincotta have showed that they're capable of scoring. They've got a reasonably good ceiling. Whereas Philippou, even though he's shown a lot in the down to 18s or whatever, the role that he has at St Kilda, and same with Fergus Green, just isn't going to score that well. I think they'll have good job security, but they won't score. They'll have games where they'll score well, but they're going to have games where they're really, really down as well. So yeah, I think that'll do for the video. Now, obviously, we're gonna. Yeah, it's weird to think how many opinions have changed over this weekend. So we'll have to reassess some other things in the coming weeks with any training reports or any news that comes out. Now, someone might get injured, so this is definitely not the final team, but I like the way it looks for now. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, 34 minutes, it's a good effort, and I appreciate it. And let me know how you guys are looking team-wise, and any players you think I should pick, or any players you think are locked. Whatever. Let me know. I'll see you in the next one.